Morning and welcome to a very exciting morning here in the Masai Mara. Even though the 5 Musketeer cheetah boys are snoozing now, I've been up all night with them and they've been keeping us really busy. They've hunted, they've missed, they've been chased by lions, and the most important thing is they are very hungry. So we're going to take you on a live African adventure. My name is Brent Leo Smith and I have Craig on camera, and this is 100% live, and we are in the complete darkness in the Masai Mara, and we are very lucky. We are the only people who are allowed to be out in the Mara at this time. So we have got a whole 300,000 acres to ourselves, and not only that, this is the first of 5 amazing live shows coming to you from 2 of Africa's most iconic destinations, the Masai Mara in Kenya and the Greater Kruger in South Africa. Now, as I said, these cheetah boys have had a night. They've been harassed by hyenas. They managed to catch an impala at about 10 p.m. It's just after 6 a.m. now, but they happened to do it very close to a lion with a broken leg. The lion charged in, scattered the cheetah off, and that lion is very lucky, because with that injury, it's very difficult for it to survive. So getting a nice free meal from the cheetah is nice and easy. Now, there's a man who considers himself to be the MVP, or maybe even the coach of our team. I think he's the left back in the change room, James Henry.
Good evening and welcome to the first of 5 spectacular live safaris from the African wild. My name is James Henry and I'm standing beneath the dim dawn sky where this continent's creatures, both great and small, are waiting to delight us. We are coming to you live from the Masai Mara in Kenya, where it's a chilly 62 degrees, and the Sabi sands in South Africa, where it's much warmer at 69 degrees, with a fine drizzle falling. We have 8 teams out searching for fiercely competing African wildlife. Now, I hope that you're enjoying the last moments of the big game, played with a ball not unlike this. And it seems that the Eagles are on the verge of a very famous victory. My condolences to the Patriots and their fans, but unlike the team, which must wallow in the depths of its shortcomings, you, our wonderful viewers, can still win. Win? I hear you say. What could we possibly win? Well, if you play Safari Bingo with us, you could win a magical trip for 2 to Africa with Nat Geo Journeys. You go to safarilive.com. Sorry, you don't do that. You go to natgeo.com/Safari Live and learn how to play Safari Bingo with us. And you could be jetting out to Kenya or South Africa with your very best pal. So you go to natgeo.com/Safari Live, and I will announce the winner at the end of our Thursday night's show. The last thing I'd like from you, please, is to continue to talk to us through the course of the show using the hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. And the first thing I want to know from you is who, in your humble opinion, is the real champion of the wilderness. While you consider that, we're going to go back north, some 1,600 miles, to where Taylor McCurdy, with the mane of a lion and the personality of a leopardess, is waiting with some hyena.
Well, the game is really just starting to begin out here in the Masai Mara. We've got some of the younger team players of the North Clan, all huddled together trying to evade the chill that is in the Mara at the moment. My name is Taylor McCurdy and I'm very excited to have you all aboard the largest safari vehicle in the entire world. Now, these young hyenas, these are spotted hyenas, are being quiet after they've been harassing me the entire night. I've basically been on babysitting duty, and because young hyenas are very curious and inquisitive, remember they're very intelligent, they decided that they would play around my car for most of the night. They were trying to chew on my tires, they were trying to pull the lights from the vehicle, and I felt like a very strict mom reprimanding them, but they've all gone to bed now, they've all gone to sleep, and I think what they're doing is that they're waiting for the adults to come home. Now, if you have got your cards out, hyenas is a game, or is an animal that should be featuring on those cards. So remember to keep with the bingo game, keep up with that. But this is very cool. Now, there are so many more hyena here, but you just can't see them. They're all underground. Some of the much younger cubs that haven't quite got that thick fur to keep them warm are huddled down underneath the ground. And I reckon once the sun starts to rise out here in the Mara, the little ones will show themselves and come out and play. Right, but we have prepared a little something for you. It was an incredible sighting Brent had just a few mornings ago across the river in the Masai Mara National Reserve, and it showcases some of the techniques that hyenas need to survive.
It was absolutely amazing. These hyenas, about 20 of them, have just been running in circles, tiring out a single topee. Now, this is the Talik clan. It is a very big clan of hyenas. And they actually specialize in doing the majority of their own hunting. Listen to those sounds. In less than 15 minutes, these hyenas have absolutely devoured that topee. They have had a tough night. We are live back on the vehicle. Now, that incident with the hyenas hunting topee took place very close to where we're sitting right now. And those same hyenas that brought down that topee, you might have noticed one of the females had a collar on her. She was following these hyena probably about half an hour or 20 minutes ago, and I think she's lying somewhere close in the bushes hoping the boys get up hunting shortly and she's going to be able to steal their kill. The hyenas are a constant bane in the life of the cheetahs, and it is quite difficult for them now, especially outside of the Great Migration. So when the Great Migration is here, we have 1.5 million wildebeest, 200,000 zebra, 200,000 Thompson's gazelles that roam the plains, and it is a time of plenty for all predators: cheetah, lion, leopard, hyena. But now, while the migration is in the southern plains of Tanzania, they have a bit of a harder time, so there's a lot more competition for food. And being out here as long as we are very lucky to be able to see that often. Now, you might notice it's in black and white, and that's because we are using infrared technology that enables you to bring you this incredible stuff while it's completely pitch black. We have no light on around us. Now, somewhere where it's probably a little bit lighter but still quite dark than us is back in South Africa. So let's go see Noel, who's got the true king of the African Bushveld.
Thank you, Brent. And I have an amazing animal sitting here live with you from the Sabi Sands in South Africa. This is an African elephant, a savanna elephant. Bingo! Elephant! All right, everyone. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I am Noelle van Moden, and this is super exciting, our first show of 5. I am so excited to be coming to you live from the African bush. I'm sitting with these elephants in our infrared camera for a couple of reasons. One is it's still a little bit dark, but 2, we don't shine the lights on the elephants because they have eyes like us. If we get a torch or a flashlight shine in our eyes, it blinds us a bit. Elephants are the same way. And so that's why this infrared camera is so amazing, because we get to sit here and watch them in all of their glory without interfering in nature at all. Now, what I would like to do is I just want to creep forward just a teeny tiny bit, and I want to see if we can hear them feeding as they move along. They are at the base of a marula tree at the moment. I said marula tree. And I'm going to show you this marula tree just up here because it is marula fruiting season. And they enjoy eating the fruits of this tree. It's sweet like candy and very, very, very high in vitamin C. Now, just as we move just through here, you're going to see that marula tree, the big, big tree just in front of me. And just underneath is that elephant. So here's the marula tree, and then there's our elephant. You can just hear them feeding a little bit. Now, James Hendry, our quarterback, our MVP, is just south of me, and he has another large African mammal he would like to share with you.
Yes, we have another large African mammal, a vast hippopotamus over here. Oh dear, things are falling off the car all over the place. That's all right. Thank you very much to those of you who sent through your answers as to who you feel the champion of the wilderness is. We had Pamela saying it was an elephant. Yes, that's a pretty good choice. Chris, you said leopard, and Lady Starfire, I think you've picked the real champion from an evolutionary point of view. You've picked the crocodile, been around for ages, that dastardly dinosaur of the deep. Now, I mentioned, and you have seen, that we are coming to you from two locations in Africa, the Masai Mara in Kenya and South Africa here, the Sabi Sands. Both of these ancient landscapes were formed in the dim mists of geological time. Have a look at how it all happened.
Africa's unique and stunning ecosystem was formed over countless eons. The Masai Mara lies in the fertile space between the Great and Western Rift valleys. Violent tectonic upheaval and volcanic deposits created a natural paradise. The fertile soil produces nutritious grasslands and savannas which nourish an abundance of life. The highlight of the year is the arrival of the Great Wildebeest migration. Some 1.5 million of these antelope make their way to the Mara each year. They risk crocodiles in the Mara River for the rich red oat grass on the other side. Djuma, in the Greater Kruger National Park of South Africa, is even more ancient than the Mara. Its sandy soil supports a variety of woodland inhabitants, including the elusive prince of cats, the leopard. The thickets and clearings are also home to many of Africa's smaller creatures. Each plays a part in balancing the ecosystem, some at a more leisurely pace. The colors, textures, smells, and sounds of the Mara and the Kruger are equally beautiful, but exquisitely unique.
Now that you have an idea as to the differences between these two great African countries, you could see why here in the Masai Mara would suit the fleet-footed cheetah. So we are back live with three very special cheetah with a very special story to tell. But before we get on to that, a quick introduction. Good evening to all of you. My name is Jamie, and I'm so excited to share the next 5 days with you as we follow the stories of some of the most incredible animals in the African wilderness, live and interactive. So remember, hashtag Safari Live is how you can get hold of us. Let's go straight back to our lovely cheetah. Now, we are sitting watching these three cheetah in infrared light. As soon as the sun comes up, then we will be able to view them in color. But for now, we definitely do not want to disturb their slumber, because in the next few minutes, they're going to need all the energy they can get when it comes time to get some breakfast. Here it has been a nail-biting finish to the big game. What an incredible way to continue. As our cheetah settle in, this is Malaika, who is something of an underdog in the story. But as the eagles have just shown us, being the underdog is not necessarily a bad thing. And she's got to raise these two young boys. They are almost at the point where they are reaching adulthood. Now Royce, who is 12 years old, it's lovely to hear that we have some youngsters watching. Royce, you want to know if it's common for cheetah to stay together? For males, yes, absolutely, like those 5 boys with Brent. But female cheetah are not really team players. It's only in situations like this where Malaika has to assume the position of head coach as she raises these 2 young boys that you'll see female cheetah in the company of others. So that's Malaika over there. She's curled up on the right. She's had a busy night already. They've been chasing jackal. They've been chased by lions who are still not too far away from where we are now. It's a constant, dangerous game of survival for the cheetah out here. And as the smallest of the big cats, they definitely have their work cut out for them. Good morning, mister. Yes, it's nearly time to wake up. Sitting up, glancing across at us, you'll see as it gets light just how easy it is to distinguish between Malaika and her 2 boys. So, while our cheetah rest up and prepare for their early morning stretches, it sounds like Brent's cheetah have had their morning's rest interrupted. Let's go and find out why.
Well, I said the hyenas were about watching the five boys, and there is one of those hyenas who brought down that topi in that little insert we showed you a little bit earlier. She's keeping a close eye on the five boys, hoping that they catch something that she can beetle off with. Now, hyenas are part of probably the best team in the Mara. You could argue that the Musketeers, the five cheetah boys, hunt well as a team. You could argue lion prides work well as a team. But in my opinion, the most effective team is that of the hyena clans. They're able to bring down massive animals, even chase off lions from their own kills when they work together as a team. So it's going to be interesting to see who is going to win. Though, are the hyenas patriots or are the hyenas eagles today? Well, we're going to have to wait and see. Now Gemma's got a very interesting question, which is how old are the five musketeers? Gemma, not exactly sure. Some of them are around 4 years old, some might be a little bit older, some might be a bit younger. We know one of them comes all the way from Sopa in Tanzania. We think that there's a combination of maybe two that are related and three singles that are made up. So what's happened is, what makes this coalition so unique is that they've teamed up together as unrelated males. There's at least two that are direct brothers, but forming this massive coalition, the biggest ever recorded, they are able to take down massive prey and control a huge swathe of territory that if they had stayed as single cheetah or as a pair of cheetah, they wouldn't have been able to. So this is a good example of teaming up. Now, a big cat who doesn't play well with others and doesn't like to team up is the leopard, and I know Tristan's hot on the trail.
Well, our big cat that we are busy searching for, you right, Brent, does not play well with others at all. Now, my name is Tristan Dix, and what we are busy doing is we're busy driving through the thickets of the Sabi sands, trying to look for a female leopard and her cub. Now, this is the most important part of our puzzle that we're trying to sort of follow over the course of the next 5 episodes. We have a bit of a territorial standoff between two males, and the prize is this female and cub. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see how this all plays out. It's a reason why we're trying to find the female and cub this morning, is to try and just see how they're doing, because there is this interloper that has arrived in the form of a new male, and he's slowly but surely pushing this female and cub further and further out of her comfort zone, and it's making things very, very interesting. Now, the reason why I'm driving through the bushes is because I had tracks for both the female and the cub in this area, and we saw the cub very briefly yesterday, and so what we're trying to do is just see if maybe they're hiding somewhere in a thicket. Leopards are very shy, reclusive animals. They don't really like too much attention, and so sometimes you've got to go through the thickets to be able to find them, and hopefully with a bit of luck we're going to be able to see them somewhere in this area. Now, I'm not the only one that's trying to find this female and cub. I've employed the services of Scott Dyson, who's going to be on bushwalk and is going to help me in these thickets try and find this leopard.
Welcome everyone. It's a huge honor to have you on Bushwalk. This is Herbie, my name's Scott Dyson, and well done to the Eagles, and for any of the Patriots fans, don't worry, we've got some good news to brighten up your day. Now, we are on the trail of a female leopard, the same leopard that Tristan's looking for, and her tracks are heading down this road, and so are we, because we are desperate to find her. Take a look here. Let me show you one of the tracks quickly. Just on the ground here, you'll notice a few little toe prints and the back pad, and we are hot on the trail of some very, very fresh tracks. And the good news is, it looks like her cub is following her, which means she may have made a kill and taken her cub back to that. And with Herbie, who's a phenomenal tracker, we are feeling confident that just with a little bit of time on foot, we're actually going to be able to find where she is and call Tristan in with her. Now, it's still a little bit dark. We don't have the fancy infrared cameras that the vehicles have, but we've got this little flashlight, and we are hot, hot, hot on the trail of these very fresh tracks. Now, I thought I heard something. It could just be my mind playing tricks on me. Okay, well, I'm not sure what that was, but these tracks are close. We're going to send you on a short break. Be sure to tune in. This is Safari Live. Found her tracks. We did have an idea that she was in this area yesterday. There was a lot of fresh sign here, but I really didn't expect us to get so lucky to already be on the trail. Now, like I said, it looks like the tracks have moved off in that direction off this road, so we're going to head over there and send you across to James with some hippopotamuses.
Here we are with hippopotamuses, everyone. It's quite a frenetic start there to begin with, and well, quite a game we had. I think you had. I have never actually watched football other than the highlights, I'm afraid. I'm sure you're all quite pleased it's over. Certainly after major sporting events here, everyone's very. I think these are all Eagles fans, actually, yes. Hippopotamus shouting, there are impala shouting at each other, fish eagles, even the grey-headed sparrows having a go. Anyway, to our marvellous internet viewers, our loyal supporters from way back, and the newer ones, it's lovely to have you with us during this advertisement break. The males impala are now starting to be overcome with testosterone. Females will only come into estrus in May, and we're barely into February. Anyway, we had them very close by yesterday evening, and they seem to have eaten in. They happen when you least expect them. Anyway, we have got some wonderful hippopotamus action as well going on over here. There's one just over there, lying on its back. It had its all 4 feet in the air. That boop, 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 which you may have heard, was Marvin, the Matrice, our sky cam, warming up. We'll send him up into the sky fairly soon. The sunrise has been something of a damp squib in more ways than one. Oh, there's an egret. You see the egret, Fergus? Yeah, very nice. And so we wait for the commercial break to finish before going back to television. What? Not hearing anything. Oh. Oh. I'm not hearing much from Kirsten. Oh, we're going to colour now. This is the best hippo sighting I've had for a very long time. For those of you who are watching on the internet, there's obviously a huge amount going on behind the scenes, delay tests, various technical things. Now we're going to go back to Brent Leo Smith in the Masai Mara in probably about 10 seconds. He has got some cheetah there, and I don't know what they're doing, and I hope they get up and hunt something very soon. Bye.
Hi everyone. We're still sitting with the Musketeers. You can see the dawn is breaking slightly. And so I said they got chased by a lion last night with a broken leg. I'm not sure if it was broken. I didn't actually see it. One of our relief teams, while I was trying to cross the Talak River, saw it happen. And so who knows, maybe they'll head off in that direction again. It's not far from here. And we might get a chance to see that injured lioness. Welcome back live to the Masai Mara. And remember, if you have any questions for us, hashtag Safari Live is the best way to get them through to us on Twitter. Now, of course, we would love to hear from you all, but unfortunately, sometimes we can't get all the questions live on air. So we've got Dr. Priya, who's helping answer questions for us on Twitter, so look out for that. And she's an expert and a vet, so great to have Dr. Priya as part of the team for today. Now, our team is currently dozing very, very, very heavily, but as I said, I've been out here all night, and for those of you who don't know what this is a shuka, and a shuka is what keeps me warm. I can cuddle with it. It keeps me warm while I wait for the cheetah to do something interesting. And for those of you, shuka is a very important word if you want to come to Africa one day. There we go. And there we have, what would you call that? A carpet of cheetah, a puddle of cheetah. And as it gets a little bit lighter, I think they're going to move down towards the Talek Valley. And hopefully they'll find some impala there. There were a lot of impala in this area. Now, Michelle is wondering, will male cheetah kill cubs like male lions or male leopards? Michelle, it is very, very unusual for male cheetah to kill cubs. Now, cheetah's breeding is quite interesting, and it makes it quite difficult for them to be 100% sure whether the cubs are theirs or not. So normally, they will not kill cubs like lions and leopards. And they also don't tend to fight as aggressively as the other big cats. They prefer to slap rather than bite. They look so comfy, don't they? Now, of course, they're not always as docile as this. They're one of the most exciting animals in the Masai Mara. So we've got a little group of things to show you about the Musketeers.
The 5 cheetah musketeers of the Masai Mara are one of the largest cheetah coalitions ever recorded. Normally it is a coalition of 2, often brothers. There is little that can stop this force on the hunt. As a team, they can kill far larger prey than they would manage individually. Together, they can ward off thieves and scavengers for much longer than lonesome females. When they are forced to give up, at least they have each other for comfort. The Brotherhood controls a vast swath of territory. Intruders are dealt with ruthlessly. Those seeking to join the musketeer ranks must prove their worth in combat, normally leaving injured and unsuccessful. Even with such a large brotherhood, tempers flare in their constant fight for dominance. The coalition could easily split in 2. For now, the cheetah musketeers will continue to roam the plains as a formidable force of 5.
And we are back live with some hippopotamus here at the Chitwa waterhole in the Sabi sands of South Africa. Those musketeers are a very, very special group of cats, and I'm also privileged to have spent some time with them. I want to extend a very warm welcome to those of you who finished watching The Big Game, where the Eagles managed to pull off an unfancied victory. And I suppose the hippopotamus here could be likened to a linebacker. Is that how you say it? I think that's correct. If I was a hippopotamus, or if I was a linebacker, I'd like to be the size of a hippopotamus as opposed to the size of a Bushveld gerbil, which is how I find myself. Nothing I can do about that at all. Ooh, there's a stork coming in here. A highly endangered stork. It's called a saddle-billed stork. Fascinating. Now, what we are doing here, there's another one, there comes its partner, which is, of course, the month of love. What we're doing here, everyone, is basically waiting to see if we can find a leopard called Hosanna. We've got impala over here. They are the most common antelope we get. They are alarm calling. Hosanna plays a cameo role in the story of the leopards of this area. He is a spectacular little male leopard who just turned 2, and he is, of course, the very young brother of Tandy, who Tristan, I think, is looking for right now, and hopefully we'll be able to show you Tandy and her cub as well. Okay, now we are standing at Chitwa Lodge. That's what that lodge is over there, in case you were wondering. Let's head across to Scott Dyson, who has got something that hops almost as impressively as he is able to.
Well, thanks from the quarterback of the Safari Live team, James Henry. I wish him luck with finding that young leopard, Hosanna. Like he says, I found a frog that actually cannot hop. All it can do is waddle along. Let's see if we can show you how it waddles. It's called the Bushveld rain frog. And what I love about these frogs is that the females have got some cunning tricks when it comes to mating with the men. They can actually glue the male to their back until they are satisfied before releasing them. Aren't they cute? And even though we're on the trail of Tandy, a leopardess, and her cub, I couldn't resist showing you this interesting little amphibian. Now, we're going to carry on, leave it be. Hopefully she'll get lucky and find a mate that she can glue to her back. But we need to keep moving and not lose focus, because we've got a strong likelihood of finding this leopard this morning. She's been moving through this area, and like I said a little bit earlier, there's a strong chance she's made a kill. She's an incredible hunter, and we are hoping that we're going to be able to get you some scenes of her and her cub feeding. Who knows, maybe even up a tree. Now, it's not just us searching this area. We're working with Tristan, so why don't you hop on board with him and get an update to see if he's had any luck.
Well, we still have tracks that we're going across the road and coming in the direction that we're at the moment. So we're trying to see if we can find this female and this little cub. Both of them were together, but it looks like the female's going up and down. So maybe she came just to suckle this little cub, and then she's gone back out on the hunt. Conditions are perfect for a leopard to be out hunting and to be trying to find food, particularly when she's got a little one like this. She's got to be on her game and trying to find food all the time. So she'll be spending a lot of time going back and forth to where this cub is being stashed and hidden as she tries to find the things that she needs in order to survive. So what we're doing now is just trying to do a little sort of block around it and to try and see if we can find where she's come out. If she hasn't come out, then hopefully she's lying down somewhere close by. Now, it has been the most incredible 3 months with this female and cub. They are my favorite leopards that we have here on Djuma, and it has been just the most magical time. So take a look at how it's gone.
This is Tandy, an 11-year-old leopardess in Kruger, who has an extra special companion. In November 2017, she gave birth to a little female cub. This unspeakably cute ball of spots and fluff lived in a den for 8 weeks. Now she spends her time playing with Mom in the woodlands of Djuma. While these games are adorable to watch, they have purpose. Defend, and in the end, the skills to climb. For now, Mom is on paw for milk, comfort, and protection.
I'm sure you must all be incredibly excited at the prospect of seeing that little bundle of spots. But back live with the cheetah and the Masai Mara to keep you entertained while Tristan, the leopard whisperer of South Africa, goes off in search of Tandy and her little one. So we are here in the Masai Mara of Kenya with another special mother and her 2 almost adult sons. Malika has her work cut out for her in just the same way that Tandy does. But as as the sun begins to rise. Good morning, boy. As the sun begins to rise, you'll notice that we have now moved into color as dawn breaks and we wait for our cheetah to start moving. Some things caught the attention of this young male. I'm looking over my shoulder to see what it might be. I can't see anything, but his eyesight is quite possibly better than mine when it comes to spotting things moving about in the open. Which of course brings me to Tony's question. Tony, yes, it is normal for cheetah to sleep out in the open like this. Of all of the nights that I have spent with either Malika or those 5 males that you saw with Brent, they have always slept out in the open. Oh, big yawn. Are we ready to start moving? So they've always slept out in the open, and they do that because it is much safer for them than to hide in the dense vegetation, because in the dense vegetation there's plenty of cover for a lion or a leopard to sneak up on them. So they've moved away from the forested areas. And in the times that I have seen Malika go close to river systems, I've actually at one point watched her being stalked by a lioness. It was a terrifying moment. Fortunately, she was alert and able to run away as quickly as possible. There we go. Now that it's light enough, we can start to answer Emily's question. Now, Emily is wondering about how you can tell the cheetah apart. Well, each cheetah has a unique pattern of spots, as unique as a human being's fingerprint. So we get to know and recognize them individually almost as easily as we would individual human faces. But one thing that you will notice, and we'll have a look in a moment, is that the 2 boys have a mantle, a fluffy mantle of hair that runs down the back of their neck, and they are always together. They are so tightly bonded, probably because they're going to spend the rest of their lives together. So if you look over there, the 2 on the left, those are Malika's boys. They are now 18 months old, and you can just see the fluffiness of their coats. Now, I can see some topi running in the distance, possibly something that Malika might want to focus on. But quick, off you go, up into the air to join Steve in the balloon.
Good morning and a very warm welcome to you, or good evening should I say. We are in the Skyship's hot air balloon flying over the Masai Mara Triangle as we speak. My name is Steve Falconbridge with Archie on camera, and we have got some topi moving around on the ground. This is definitely some food that those Musketeer boys would quite enjoy to take down, but like the cheetah, they enjoy quite wide open spaces so they can see the approach of these dangerous cats. And the sun is slowly starting to rise on the horizon, and the light is coming, and I think these animals are breathing a sigh of relief as the light which approaches. They don't have the infrared as we did on the cameras earlier. They now have the ability to see the approaching danger. And talking about danger, we're going to go all the way down to the Sabi sands to a good friend of mine, Stefan, who I believe is on foot in the African wilderness.
Good morning, and I am absolutely on foot and quite thankful that the sun has finally decided to rise. My name is Stefan Winterboer, and just the same as Scott, I'm walking around live right now in the Kruger National Park here at Djuma Private Game Reserve. And the bush is just alive with sounds this morning. We've got elephant trumpeting, we've got a troop of baboons making a noise just over the rise here, and I hope that we can get a little bit closer to show you them today. Must be honest, I for one am glad that the Eagles won. As a new friend recently said, I quite enjoy the underdog winning, and so if I were to put any of my interests on it, it would be exactly that the Eagles would have won. So for all of you out there, I'm happy for that. Now I'm getting stuck on all these bushes. A bit thick walking around here today. Look at this. This is one of the things that we've got to watch out for when we're here. This is the very fresh dropping of an elephant, and they would have spent the evening last night huddled underneath trees. And very early in the morning, before the sun comes up, even earlier than what we were out this morning at 4 o'clock, they would have come out. And a good way of testing exactly how fresh this is just to break it open and to test for body heat. Now, this is fairly cold. It's still a little bit warm, but not as warm as I would expect an elephant to be right here. And we'll be on these tracks as well as those baboons. Now, we're going to be sending you 4 countries away, a distance between New Orleans and Montreal, basically, as far as we're going to send you now, all the way into the Mara with Steve on the balloon.
unlike Steph, I'm a little bit upset that the Eagles won. I was rooting for the Patriots there, but you know, I'm just going to stick to what I know, and that's cheetahs. Look at the boys. They are still lovely and cuddled up. Now, their heads raised quickly a little bit ago. Oh, sorry. You thought you might be going up into the air with Steve. Unfortunately, fortunately, you're with me on the ground with the cheetah. So, as I said, they lifted their heads very quickly just now, and there was a snort. There we go. And I can hear some impala. They're not far away, maybe 150 or 200 meters. And it's a perfectly sized antelope for these guys. Yes, good morning. Good morning. It's time to go hunting now. It's time to get your game faces on. As I said, they've had a rough night. Lots of other predators around giving them a hard time. But I'm hoping they're going to move down to the open areas just to the north of us. Sky. A very good question from Sky. And that is Malika close to where we are now? So Jamie is with Malika the cheetah. Not that close, probably about 9 kilometers away from us, which is about 4.5 miles or so. Now, these guys broke a record last night for me, and I've spent a lot of time with them. The furthest I've ever followed them overnight before was about 9 miles. And last night they did close on 18 miles from where they were. So, oh, hello. This is very good news for us. Look at that. Like a proper athlete getting ready to stretch. Come on, don't fall, go and climb back into the puddle. He's going to climb back into the puddle. But as soon as we start seeing movement like that and stretching, it means that they are going to get moving. Oh, but quickly across to Steve in the air with one of my favorite animals.
Are you not hopping comms?
Welcome back, and we are in the sky, hot air balloon, and what do we have for you, ladies and gentlemen, but a black rhino. It looks like a male, but it is hard to say from this distance. Its nose is to the ground. It definitely looks like it is on a mission. It is a browser, but doesn't seem to be feeding, so it looks like it's potentially following the scent of a female or of another bull. They are very territorial, and their sense of smell is phenomenal. And there you can see one of the other balloons in the distance just taking off in the pre-dawn. The sun has not quite crested the horizon yet, so it is still quite dark out here. So it's very interesting how well these cameras pick up the light. And so what has he done? He's stopped. It's a bit of a quest. He's definitely smelling. He's now defecating. You can see his tail is up in the air, and as a territorial bull, probably defecating and demarcating his territory as he moves along. It's very important for these animals to have territories, and very special that us up in the Mara have the ability to see these wonderful creatures from the air. But while we continue on our quest in the Skyship balloon safaris, we're going to be going all the way down to our MVP, who I believe has also got something very visible from the sky.
Yes, I do have something very visible from the sky. It is in fact me and the entirety of Chitwa, where we find ourselves on the western fringes of the greater Kruger National Park. Now, you will see that the landscape that you've been looking at from the balloon is very different from the one you're looking at now. Down here, we're not quite in the midst of a drought, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, drought, bingo, ha, ha, ha. But we are certainly experiencing a fairly dry summer. Now, you say to me, why are you in a tree? What could you possibly have found in a tree? And you will not believe the thing that I have discovered up here. You are going to be so amazed. It's a pineapple. It's almost as if somebody placed it over here for a reason. And I'm just trying to think what that reason could be. I think you'll work it out. Good. So that is the pineapple. And I will now leap off this tree. And in order to avoid showing you my breaking of my own ankles, we're going to head back to Taylor McCurdy, who is on the banks of the Great Mara River, I suspect, looking for the magnificent Paradise Pride.
Look at where we are. We are down at the murderous Mara River. Most dangerous animals in Africa. In fact, calm and quiet for the moment at the Mara River. All I have to say about this is bingo! Have a little listen to all the sounds that are going on. You can maybe even hear the trickling of the Mara River. Lots of groaning and grunting going on at the moment with the hippos. And a lot of them are just making their way back from a night out of eating. Now, there's quite a few hippos here, lots and lots of different groups. And Djuma, you were in fact wondering how big is this pod? Well, I think on... Oh, sorry, my apologies. How big is the mother hippo? Well, they can get quite large. They can get to the size of a small car, essentially. So not quite as big as the boys. And those little ones are incredible when they're born. Oh, right, I'm going to very quickly send you across the Mara River to Brent.
Oh, look at this. There's a hyena. It's the same hyena from earlier. So she is one of the dominant females from the clan in this area. And the reason she's got a collar on is because she is part of a research study on the dynamics of the hyenas. She's moving closer towards the cheetah. Now, sometimes they will interact. These boys, being 5 of them, will actually sometimes attack a single hyena. She is getting closer and closer. What is she going to do? What are the boys going to do? You're going to have to join us after the short break to find out what happens next. This is incredible. This is Safari Live. Okay, everyone. She's smelling where the boys have urinated. The boys took up a sort of crouched position, and she's decided there's no food here. There's no need to put too much pressure on. But she's been harassing. Well, welcome back, everyone. We're just moving a little bit. We were trying to get sunrise coming through behind the cheetah, but so we're doing a bit of a delay test there. The hyena is still lurking on the edge, just staying right on the edge of the bushes. We're just going to see if we can get a little bit of a sunrise behind the cheetah as the Mara sun pops up over the eastern horizon. Are you happy, Craig?
Okay, so we are still with the lovely Malika and her 2 boys as we wait for them to, well, perhaps wake up on this glorious morning. I think I got it there. I'm just double checking our delay, which is what they were trying to do. Here we go. Did you manage there, Kirst? You all good? Here we go. There's a desperate reach there to try and get the first clap into the camera.
delay, internet audience? Oh, delay, sorry, I'm looking at everything that's going on. I think I was on time there. It's pretty incredible as to what's going on out here at the moment. It sounds like Jurassic Park. Can you believe it? There are lots of very angry hippos out here at the moment. All those males in that corner not happy with one another. And they're all fighting for lip sync. Do you want me to sing a song? What can I say? The pressure is on. The pressure is on. She sells seashells at the seashore. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck up? A woodchuck could chuck wood. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. If Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, how many? I don't know the rest of the things. But we're doing all sorts of tests, everybody, in case you're wondering what's wrong. Oh, very nice. Right, so we're going to go to Steve now to hear what he's got to say.
Good morning, and once again we are up in the balloon in the Masai Mara Triangle, and what a glorious morning it is as the event of the day is starting to unfold. The golden orb of the sun slowly crests the eastern horizon. What a beautiful start to the day. Thanks, Archie. Get a nice close-up there. The trees in the distance are lining the riverbanks and the drainage lines, which move all the way down to the Mara River. And the trees in the far...
Welcome back live to the Masai Mara. That little standoff with the hyenas, didn't go according to the hyenas' plan. I suppose the 5 boys were a bit like the eagle's defense this evening, impenetrable to that hyena. But they are getting more and more interested in the sounds that are happening around us. There's impala making a noise. I thought I heard the little of a Thompson's gazelle earlier. But heads are up now. We want them to start stretching, and that's when they're going to move. Remember, this is only the first of 5 incredible live shows from Africa, and I'm going to be following these boys for the next 5 days, every day, hopefully, unless they give me the slip through the bushes, which they have done, but fortunately we have been able to find them again. They can disappear like ghosts in the night. But fortunately we've got lots of fun technology like infrared to follow them. But we're going to be following these cheetah every single day, so we're hoping to see incredible behavior, and we're hoping you get to love these cheetah as much as we do here. It is really such a privilege to be able to follow these animals and 100% live and share them with you. Hi, Lauren. Lauren is wondering, who do I think is the cheetah's biggest enemy? Lauren, there is no doubt to who the cheetah's biggest enemy is, and it's not the hyenas, it's not the leopards, it's the lions. Most cheetah are killed by lions. They are a very big threat to cheetah, and that's why they're so vigilant, and they will normally lie up in areas a little bit more open than this. I think that's because they sort of know where the lions are, because the lions chased them last night. But like where you had Malika with Jamie, they like to lie in open areas at night where they've got a nice big view and they're able to see potential threats like lions coming. Now, of course, another animal that's very dangerous for a cheetah, but they sprint past them, is the hippo. Let's go back to the river.
They are incredibly dangerous, and I think these two are having an argument about, well, who won the big game. There's some really prehistoric sounds coming from these hippo. Have a listen. Now, I can promise you, if you were sleeping on the banks of the Mara River, kind of like what we were last night, you would think that there were dinosaurs surrounding your vehicle. Isn't that just the most incredible noise? Now, they're not happy with one another. That's why they're opening their mouths like that and thrashing at one another, trying to intimidate. But I have a question for all of you. I need all of you to send in a tweet, one word, on how you would describe the sighting. How does the sighting make you feel? So remember, hashtag Safari Live, get those tweets in. Does it terrify you? Does it make the adrenaline pump through your veins? Come on, send them through. I look forward to hearing all of your responses, because remember, this is live, this is happening right now, and this is the Mara River, one of the most famous rivers in Africa. You wouldn't want to come swimming in here though, as you can see. Lots and lots and lots of hippos here. Now, the reason why those boys are probably having a go at one another is there's lots of females around here. Now, they'll all be fighting for the prime spot in the Mara River, for territories, and sometimes you need to have a battle. You need to show your teeth. You need to make lots of loud noises to try and intimidate your opponents. Sometimes that tactic can work, even with sports games. And there's another hippo who hasn't quite settled in for the morning. He's still clambering around on the rocks. And for such big, large creatures, big round bellies with small feet, they're pretty nimble. Now, Kim, if you look very carefully to the right of that hippo, I think there was a crocodile there, and you were wondering if hippos and crocodiles can actually live together in the same water system. They most certainly can. There's sort of an unspoken rule amongst these two species. You leave me alone, I leave you alone. You can see, I think you can just see its tail. It looks kind of like a rock, but you can see those ridges. That's actually a crocodile over there. I think I have seen a few more. So they will live in harmony. Every now and then, though, a crocodile can't help itself and will try and take on a young hippopotamus. But then you don't have to just deal with the mother, you have to deal with the entire pod. There's a very strong unit amongst hippo, kind of like in sports, with teams. There's another one there. Now, MJ, your one-word tweet was primal. That's a very, very, very good way to describe what we were just listening to and just watching. And they're continuing to thrash about. And, you know, things like this can go on for ages and ages. This is a particularly good spot. The water is not too deep here. So everybody wants to live in this section of the Mara River. And I would imagine that you would see lots of young bulls as well, just down and around and off to the side, just trying to keep out of harm's way and leave, well, the fighting to the bigger boys. I don't think we're going to go anywhere. I think we're going to stick with these hippos to see what happens between these two bulls, who will be the winner. I'm going to send you back down to South Africa, where it's a little bit of a miserable day, and James is waiting for you.
There are no miserable days out here at all, I don't think. They're all magnificent, especially in the summertime. Over here we have got an animal that you will not see in the Masai Mara, and that means, of course, that the Sabi Sands is better than the Masai Mara. No, that's not true. But what is true is that although you will not find those Nyala in the Masai Mara, you will find William's kin in the Masai Mara. This is William, the wildebeest. Isn't he marvellous? Now, we are going to play a game, you and I, called Where Am I? Now, you know where I am because I've told you I'm here in the Sabi Sands. But William and his kin occur in both locations, but there is a very subtle difference. So the clip we're going to show you now is of a wildebeest. And that wildebeest is either in the Kruger or in the Mara. And what you need to look at is the beard colour, and you may not use a search engine. Please promise me right now that you will not use a search engine at all. So you have to check in the recesses of your brain. Tell me where that wildebeest was. Was it in the Mara or in the Kruger? And you do that using the hashtag Safari Live and then hashtag Mara or hashtag Kruger. There it is once more. Look at its beard colour, and then we will show you a comparison between the two a little bit later. So that's hashtag Safari Live, hashtag Mara or hashtag Kruger. Let's have one more look at these Nyala. I'm just going to get myself out of the way. They are eating delicious marula fruits, and I will try and give you some of those a little bit later. Now, Jamie Patterson has had a torrid time this morning, but her fortitude has paid off. As she has shown you, she has found that magnificent cheetah and its, well, almost adult cubs.
Look at what we have here. Isn't this absolutely spectacular? The sun shining across the backs of our sleeping cheetah. One boy has got his head up. Now, while you are pondering which particular place that animal comes from, I can tell you that, of course, because we are in the Masai Mara, that this is the area of the Great Migration. This is where we see over 1.5 million wildebeest move through from Tanzania across to Kenya. And during that time, times are pretty easy for the predators of the Mara, including the cheetah as well. So for Malaika, it was very easy a couple of months ago to keep both herself and her 2 boys fed. But with times of plenty, of course, then times of hardships must also arrive around the corner. And Malaika is now struggling to keep both of her 2 boys fed, with